that the president must be able to confront, Mr. Speaker, is that this vested interest in government must stop and allow for private sector to be able to create jobs that are decent for our young people, because government will just never be able to create enough jobs. And this is confronting the president of the nation, that because of the magnitude of the crisis that we are seeing today, Mr. Speaker, the response must also be the same. It goes without saying that in physics, they say that one action must have an equal reaction to it, Mr. Speaker. It cannot be that we are going to talk about just dialogues for the sake of dialogue, Mr. Speaker. This dialogue must be on specific issues that are denying young people economic opportunities in this country, so that those issues are sorted for once and for all. And at the heart of those issues, Mr. Speaker, is the ministers or cabinet secretaries that we have in this country today. Mr. Speaker, the president must confront this reality that either you die with these few individuals or you die with the entire country. It must matter to the president to be able to give young people an explanation. Why is it so difficult, at least in areas where ministers who are extremely known in the country to have done economic crimes to leave cabinet, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, what is there, Mr. Speaker, to explain to the country why the CS of agriculture must continue being a CS, Mr. Speaker? And Mr. Speaker, this must come all the way to the House, so that the issue you have been fighting in this House on separation of powers, whereby we need Parliament to be able to play an oversight role and have a proper autonomous and independence operation between it and the executive, must also happen, Mr. Speaker. And one of the radical ways that the president can be able to help this country is to rethink the entire leadership of the National Assembly in particular, Mr. Speaker. Because the National Assembly under our Constitution has got all powers to deal with money bills, Mr. Speaker. And that is why it becomes very easy for the National Assembly to be able to mix personal interest and public interest, Mr. Speaker. I have checked at the quality of leadership in this House, Mr. Speaker. If you look at Senior Senator Boni Alwale, Mr. Speaker, as the majority whip in this House, Mr. Speaker, at what point do you compare Senior Boni Alwale with Honorable Osoro in the National Assembly, where Honorable Osoro is going to look at issues of budget and finance bills in this country, Mr. Speaker? When you look at our majority leader here, Mr. Speaker, the gentleman called Arun Cheriot, who has actually brought this bill, Mr. Speaker, the depth and the passion for the country, Mr. Speaker, at what point do you compare Arun Cheriot with Kimani Ichungwa in National Assembly and then say that we're going to sober assembly, Mr. Speaker? When you look at people like Deputy Majority Leader, Mr. Speaker, Sarah Tabitha Keroche, a lady of valor and towering spirit of entrepreneurship, Mr. Speaker, who has run serious business that we have seen in this country, Mr. Speaker, at what point, Mr. Speaker, do you compare? I'm even lost of words, Mr. Speaker. I'm lost of words, Mr. Speaker. The president must confront this reality. We must see as young people a shake-up in National Assembly that has basically enabled 100% of the problem of not listening to the young people of this country, Mr. Speaker. And we must see that shake-up also, Mr. Speaker, in the
2 minutes to wind up your thoughts.
Mr. Speaker, as I wind up, I also want to invite Gen Zs to a conversation. That we are a constitutional democracy. The country must run. The country must be governed. Do not be tempted that in the foot of this wonderful movement that you have had, then you get compromised in traditional politics where people can end up hijacking this kind of movements